Hello and welcome to Full Throttle on Unprecedented TV in association with the Alliance of British Drivers, the high-octane no-brakes show that stands up for British motorists and civil liberties against the endless war on our freedoms. I'm Brian Gregory, Policy Director for the Alliance of British Drivers.
And I'm Paul Naylor, Communications Director for the ABD. So strap in tight because on this episode, we're joined by ex-Member of Parliament Andrew Bridgen as we slam into HS2. That monstrous money pit now costing over 100 billion with 46 billion already squandered while the project spirals years behind schedule and gets slower by the day. Agenda 2030, the net zero madness destroying our freedom and wallets. And of course, cars. No spin, no sacred cows, just hard-hitting straight talk on the policies driving Britain off the road. So buckle up, let's go full throttle. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hi there.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So can we just ask briefly for you to tell us about your journey from business in the Royal Marines into politics and then as an MP for North West Leicestershire?
Well, it'll have to be a truncated version. Okay, so in 2005, I'm a very, very successful businessman. Been running a company. I started with £1,000, built it up to a 30 million turnover business, employing 300. My group was making about 3 million a year pre-tax, no debt, and I got really annoyed with the way the local area was being run down at the time by the Labour Council. Labour MP for North West Leicestershire. Got a few other small and medium-sized business people together who were equally disgruntled, got them to stand for the council. I put the money up for the leaflets. There was no Conservative presence in the area, really. The local association, got very few members and no money, and they weren't running proper campaigns, and told them that, I'd stand for MP, we'll take over the council, and all the problems locally be our problems, and we'll sort them out. And my friends all did. We got in with the biggest swing in 2007 in the local elections, took control of the council. I got in as the MP with the second biggest swing in the country in 2010. And by 2019, we turned North West Leicestershire, which was the poorest constituency in Leicestershire, into the richest, highest economic growth in the country. 1.2 jobs in the constituency for everyone of working age to keep the wages going up. The only part of Leicestershire, North West Leicestershire, which has got Colville in it, which was supposedly the most deprived town in Leicestershire, a gritty former mining town. It was the only part of Leicestershire now with above UK average household incomes, and we built enough good quality housing to keep the house prices 30% below UK average. That's the sweet spot, and it was the happiest place to live in the Midlands. So I think that was mission accomplished on delivering the economic growth. I was a successful businessman. I was Young Executive of the Year UK when I was young in 2000. I'd served as on the board, on the council of the Institute of Directors in London for a number of years. And then I became the MP for the local area where I lived and where my business was. And I got in every year with every election with a bigger majority till I think 2019, 63% of the votes.
Okay, right. Yeah,
Right.
So your constituency's been hard hit by the HS2 plans.
It was hit when the route was announced. I've always been against HS2. I looked at the project. I could see it was going to be a disaster from the beginning. I mean, if you actually wanted to build a high-speed line, you'd go to a company that had built one and get a quote, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would.
You wouldn't say. I mean, if you wanted to build a house, you wouldn't say, "Well, I'll just do it myself and pick up the skills as I go along," would you? That's what the civil service said when they formed HS2, that they just learn on the job. They laid out these plans for phase 1, 2, 2B, and 2B came through the so-called East Midlands leg, straight through the middle of North West Leicestershire. 22 miles, I think it went straight through. It's on paper when it came out, the route on 2013, it sterilised 22 miles, the width of a football field. So it stopped us building new factories that had already got permission for 1,200 jobs. It was actually going to go under the airport at East Midlands Airport, costing £800 million, tunnelling under a runway that was in use, which I don't think has ever been done anywhere in the world. But I mean, they were going to learn on the job, so it would be fine. So we got all that.
Wonder what could possibly go wrong.
What could possibly
Nothing.
go wrong?
Nothing. You're so negative, you two.
What did Ronald Reagan say? The scariest sentence in the world is, "We're from the government and we're here to help."
You. Yeah,
and the tunnel came out where we got plans to build the new industrial estate, which was creating 11,000 jobs.
Yeah.
So that was going to be kiboshed as well. So I got the route changed so it didn't go under the airport and protected 10,000 jobs there, and it didn't destroy the 10,000 jobs we were creating next door. But even so, and out of revenge, because I'd opposed it. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, in 2013, when the route came out, I went to go and see Eric Pickles, who was chairman of the Conservative Party at the time, and I've only been elected for a couple of years, 3 years. So I went to go and see him, and in his office, I said, I've got grave concerns about HS2. It's going to run out of control, and it's all going to get cancelled. And you've announced all these routes, and it's upsetting people, and it's not necessary because it's never going to happen. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
And he looked over his glasses at me like a sort of school headmaster, looking at a sort of naughty boy.
Yeah.
And his response to my concerns were, "Andrew, we are the government. If we weren't wasting taxpayers' cash on HS2, we'd only be wasting it on something else. Out you go." And that was the meeting. I mean, I was gobsmacked. I'm
surprised.
I mean, that's what he told me. Well, he's in the House of Lords now, so he's obviously, a very important person. And out of spite, they put HS2 right next to my house.
Really?
Yeah.
That was just done off the back of that, you think?
Well, it was my estate. I got a nice mansion in Leicestershire near Appleby Magna, the old rectory, a modest 9-bedroom, 11-bathroom, 1805 listed rectory with swimming pool, stables, 14 acres of gardens, and they put it right in front of the fountain, in front of my house.
That sounds a bit like spite.
So
it does.
So I ended up, unfortunately, my first wife divorced me, so I had to sell the house, and I couldn't sell it because it wasn't worth anything. They want to buy it with this. So I had to sell it. I had to sell it to HS2, and they gave me $500,000 less than it owed me, and 360,000 less than I'd paid for it 5 years before, and I'd spent money on it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I could do about it. And a whistleblower from HS2 told me afterwards that they would have put a loop around my house if they could have done. Right? That's what. Yeah. Now, that was bad enough. Then it got worse. So I've been robbed out of my house for $500,000 less than it was worth, and a lot less than I'd paid for it. And then, so that was in 2015, just before the 15 election, a few weeks before 2015. And by the 2017 election, my political opponents and others are putting rumours out that I've made a fortune out of HS2 selling my house. And I thought, well, I'll sort this out. I'll just go to the land registry. I'll get the documents. I'll just print the whole land registry sheet in the local paper, and we'll soon sort it. And I went to the land registry, and the government had deleted what I'd paid for the house off the land registry.
Really?
Yes. and then leaflets came out, and were illegal leaflets because there was no political imprint on them saying who'd produced them, saying Andrew Bridgen sold his house to his mates and made a fortune. And I questioned the government after the election. And then they said, "Oh, you can pay £30. We've sealed it so no one can see it." They hadn't, and I paid £30, and it was still there that I'd paid 2.2 million for the house, and they gave me 1.89 5 years later. But no one could see it, you see. And then it got really bad, because I got the impression they were trying to get rid of me. So my eldest son was living in America. He'd graduated from university, was living in America and working in America. And he rang me January 2023 and said, I've got a big problem, Dad. My credit rating's no good and no one wants to rent me an apartment. And I said, well, why is that? And he said, well, I've got the paperwork. I'll send it to you. And it was unpaid gas bills for the old rectory at Appleby Magba, a house I'd sold to the government in 2015, unpaid gas bills from 2020, 2021, 2022, £7,500 worth of unpaid gas bills. And so as his MP, my son, I got onto British Gas and what's going on here. I mean, he was 15 when we left the old rectory. He was 15, and it turned out that HS2 had not paid the gas bills, and they told them to stick it onto Mr. AJ Bridgen, which is me, Andrew James Bridgen. But it's also my son's initials, Alexander James Bridgen. They stuck it on the wrong one. But it wasn't mine anyway, because why was I going to get the gas bills 5 years, 6 years, and 7 years after I'd moved out of the property?
Blimey.
Well, it could all be a mistake, or you could be a coincidence theorist.
Not a big fan of coincidences.
So it struggles on. I mean, and it's so ludicrous now. They can't afford to get it in. Well, they can't get it into Euston Station.
No.
And they can't get it into New Street Station in Birmingham HS2. So you've now got this very fast line that runs from Old Oak Common to the NEC. So you can go very fast from nearly London to nearly Birmingham.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to get trains either side to get to where you want to. Unless, of course, you want to go from nearly London to nearly Birmingham very fast, right?
But aren't they talking now about downclocking the speeds of the train or something?
Well, we haven't we won't have the electricity to make it go at those speeds anyway.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have the energy infrastructure to. I mean, it's absolutely been an absolute fraud all the way through. It's. I mean, do you know that they actually bought? I mean, when you're building something, you have your building materials delivered, with a couple of days' supply onto site, don't you? Yes. So obviously, every time you handle building materials and they go on and off lorries, they get damaged, don't they?
Yeah.
But HS2 didn't do that. They've got a different way of doing it. They stockpiled all the materials in sites around the country, so they'd got them. Whether it was building blocks, bricks, concrete slabs, whatever, fence posts, and they were buying so many, it put about £2,000 on the cost of building a house because they were stockpiling. So every house that was being built in the country, and of course they bought these stockpiles for big chunks of the track that are now never going to get built. I wonder how many pence in the pound they sold those stockpiles off.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think it would make it would be something along the line of the PPE scam.
Yes. Similar to the COVID.
It's probably
you won't hear anything about it because it'll all be covered up. But I'll tell you now, someone's made an awful lot of money. And also, I found out that the way they buy houses off people, you see, they have a valuation system which they say is transparently fair. And I challenge them on this because I work the psychology out of how it works and how they get your house off you or whatever they're buying off you very, very cheap. So there's a list of 10 valuers. And there's some names you would know, like Savills or probably Frank Knight or Knight Frank or whatever. But they're all the London offices, so you don't know anybody, and they don't know anything about the Midlands or the North. And of course, these 10 valuers are on the list for the whole project. And so the way it works is, and bear in mind, because I'm an MP, I thought it wasn't right for me to negotiate with HS2. So I used a consultant to do that, and they cost me £25,000 to negotiate with HS2 because I couldn't do it. I didn't think it was right that I did it. But obviously, he told me what went on. So you've got these 10 firms of valuers, estate agents, effectively. You choose one at random for yourself. HS2 pays them to come and do a valuation, and then they choose one to come and do a valuation. And if the two valuations are within 10%, they split the difference, and that's what they pay you. And that sounds fair. But think about it. As someone along the route, as having your property, whether it be a house, a factory, a bit of land bought, you're going to deal with these valuers once, aren't you, on average?
Yeah.
Well, what do they really want? They want to be the one that HS2 chooses, because HS2 chooses somebody every single valuation. Yeah. Do you think HS2 chooses the valuer who puts the highest price in or the lowest price in? Which one do you think?
Let me think.
Bear in mind that the whole project was under price pressure from the beginning. I mean, the whole thing, that was London to Manchester to Leeds and to Sheffield, was £32 billion. Now it's 100 billion just to go from nearly London to nearly Birmingham.
Yeah.
So the whole, and I got to two of the, I mean, and the best jobs in the whole of the civil service, the highest paid jobs were in HS2. Yeah. The highest paid civil servant was the chairman of HS2, which used to be £750,000 a year plus expenses. Yeah. And they couldn't keep anybody. People kept leaving. And indeed, I spoke to two land buyers for HS2. They were in charge of the buying of the properties along the way that they had to buy. And both of those said that they were swindling everybody along the route. And I worked out how they were swindling everybody, because every one of those valuers wanted to put the lowest price in so that they got picked next time by HS2. And I didn't really matter, because they were never going to see me again. It was all and I had this out with Chris Grayling when he was the Transport Secretary, and I had it out with various ministers for HS2. And I said, well, there's an easy way out of this, because by this time we're talking about 2017. I said, you've done thousands and thousands of purchases. You're telling me it's just random. I said, in that case, you've got 10 valuers. I don't need any information, any confidential information. Just tell me how many times you use each of the 10. And if they're all about 10%, it's random. If not, it's not. Yeah. They wouldn't release that document, that information to me, because it's not random, is it?
What a surprise.
What a surprise. And that's how they got everybody's houses off them cheap.
So do you think that this is the biggest white elephant in British history?
Well, it's a lot smaller than it would have been, because they cancelled most of it. I mean, if they hadn't already started tunnelling under the Chilterns, they would have cancelled phase 1. And it is going to be, because it's going to go from nearly London to nearly Birmingham, and really fast. It's going to be.
When though? When's this going to happen?
Well, obviously not in our lifetime. I mean, you can't rush things like this.
You can't. No.
I mean,
you can't produce.
That would be the end of the gravy train for the civil servants as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it would.
You can't rush into these things. It might be high-speed rail, but it's got to be done very slowly.
They must have reincarnated Sir Humphrey and put him in charge of this.
Yeah.
Yes, Prime Minister.
Yeah. But no, and I voted for 10 years. I voted against HS2. I spoke against it every single time. And I was vindicated. In fact, when it was cancelled, Newsnight contacted me, because I'd already done, I think, 3 or 4 over the years interviews with them about HS2, and I'd been consistent saying it's going to be a disaster and it will get cancelled. And when they cancelled phase 2 and everything north of Birmingham, they invited me on. But at the same time, I was also warning the nation of the lack of safety and efficacy of the COVID vaccines, and they weren't really willing to give me the publicity of being proved right about HS2.
Well, but I mean, you've been proved right in.
So an hour before the program was due to air, they said, no, we've changed it. We don't want you anymore. Someone had made a phone call, and they didn't fancy me going on there saying, well, I told you so, didn't I, from the very beginning? Play the tapes. And of course, I was the MP who uncovered the post office scandal, the Horizon post office scandal.
Right.
So I had a bit of a track record of finding the frauds.
Which they would normally just try and smooth over and push.
Well, they covered the post office scandal up for 20 years. And I was told before I was thrown out of the Conservative Party they wanted to cover the vaccine harms and deaths over for 20 years. That's what they told me. So it'll be 2043 before it'll be admitted, and everyone will be dead. Which I wasn't willing to accept. and they wanted me to agree that they could vaccinate the small children, which was been murder. That I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a dreadful debacle from start to finish, and you can't produce an effective vaccine in 18 months. I did some digging, and apparently COVID, the virus has been patented.
Yeah, it was the vaccines and the virus were all developed by.
Patent a virus if it's a natural product. You can only patent it if it's a bioweapon.
They're both bioweapons, and they were both produced by DARPA in America. And the virus was shipped to Wuhan and paid for to be released there. Yeah.
Or under this gain of function stuff that Fauci was involved with.
Yes, through Eco Health Alliance and Peter Daszak. Yes. Yeah,
Daszak. Yeah. It's dreadful. It will come out, as you say, but really, what ought to happen? Fauci's
house was raided by the police this week, and they've taken documents. So you never know.
Good.
You never know.
Because
couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, Anthony.
No, absolutely, yeah. I think what we need is these people to be put in front of a Nuremberg crimes against humanity type trial with the appropriate penalties that applied to the original Nuremberg trials as well.
Absolutely, but we've just had the release of Module 4 of the Hallett review, the whitewash of a COVID review, and she says that the vaccines do far more help than harm. Well, that's an absolute whitewash.
Yeah,
it's absolute whitewash.
Absolutely.
So they're still holding the line. They want their 20 years. Great. And I would remind you, if you don't know, that thalidomide was covered up for 11 years from when it was withdrawn. It was 11 years before the word thalidomide was allowed to be mentioned and debated in the House of Commons.
And of course, now it's being used as a painkiller, diclofenac.
And it's also being used as a treatment for leprosy. Leprosy.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
It's being and you're still getting babies born of pregnant women now who've got
deformities caused by them.
They're suffered by angiogenesis. That's the thalidomide stops the fetus from forming blood vessels.
Right. Okay. Anyway, I guess we should move back onto our normal sort of transport and freedom of speech and what sort of track, if you like. So what's related? Let's just finish off on HS2. Where do you think it'll end up? Do you think this is it now, that we get nearly London to nearly Birmingham and that'll be it?
Yeah, there'll be a train link from Euston to Old Oak Common, and you'll have to get off at the NEC and get a train into New Street. And by the time you've done all that, even if you went really quickly between the two, it'll be slower than taking the conventional. And it's going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. So why not just?
So why are you going? No one's going to do it. No. They'll probably shut the existing service down to force you onto it to try.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be a bit like the toll road, the M6 toll road.
M6. I was going to say the M6 relief road will be like that.
Where they always sort of say, "Oh, it's very, very busy on the M6, but the toll road's clear." No wonder at £10 a pop. You know.
Exactly.
But
so another great win for government.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it really, it decreases public confidence in politicians in general, sadly, or certainly
I'm not sure that's possible. I think we've basically hit rock bottom, haven't we? Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
We're at rock bottom, but digging further. Yeah.
But the only trouble is, every time I've said it can't get any worse, it always does. Somehow or other.
Yeah.
So
crazy times. Yeah. So I think what could have solved all of this many, many years ago would have been, instead of saying, well, we're going to build this extra fast train link that's going to shave half an hour off your journey or whatever it's going to shave off. Let's buy everybody an alarm clock and put on a slightly earlier service.
Get on an earlier train.
Anyway. Yeah, exactly.
Get up earlier. Get an earlier train with less people on it. Get there earlier.
And then the investment could have gone in putting the train.
Well, there was a joke going around because obviously for 100 billion, the joke was that it could have pulled Birmingham down and rebuilt it 20 minutes nearer to London. Could have rebuilt the whole city.
It could do with it
for 100 billion.
It's just a crazy amount of money, and that money could have been put into the existing.
And it was never about revitalising the north. It was all about sucking talent and money into London.
Yes,
because if it had been about rebuilding the economy of the Midlands of the North, they'd have started in the North, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
You would have thought so. Yeah.
And sadly, these days, because of the way things have gone, most of the reasons for going to London have already upped and left. They've relocated elsewhere around the world because they're thinking, stuff this.
Well, you might be in desperate need of, at the weekend of being mugged. So you might have to get to London.
Well, yes,
that's it. Yeah, I've got to get to London for a quick mugging. Yeah. I'm sick of this phone.
I need a new phone.
Yeah.
This Rolex is really weighing my wrist down. Yeah. It's that kind of thing. But so that's HS2. Yeah, it's exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
a bit of a non-starter.
But so what about? Go on,
right? No, well, I was going to talk about Agenda 2030.
Look at the wider agenda now. The sort of net zero and banning.
Well, all the political parties have signed up to it. No one ever talks about it. It's never mentioned in Parliament. No, but you can go on the government website. It doesn't matter who's in power.
Yeah.
Agenda 2030. The government remains. It's exactly the same page. Whether and if Reform get in it, it will be the same because they're in the club as well. So it's all going to be the same. And the plan is that people will say, well, I'm personally, I don't know where you chaps stand, but I'm just not keen on electric cars. I hate them. No. I hate them. I took some medical advice from some scientists, and the EMF emitted from the battery. It's very similar. It's exactly the same technology as the battery in your phone. And when I speak on the phone, I don't hold that phone next to my head. No. But you're basically sitting, probably with your children, taking them to school, sitting on top of a enormous battery. And the safe time to be exposed to that much EMF is 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And you're probably doing that to your children, taking them to school. You've got no range. So I wouldn't buy one. I'm still driving a 10-year-old Range Rover with a 3-litre diesel engine. It goes like stink.
I'm with you. Mine's an old BMW estate car, same diesel.
So probably the best thing you can do for the environment is by not buying a new car. And they're so well made, and it's like brand new inside. So why would you have a problem? But the state of the roads. Taxation's at record levels.
Yeah.
And I was in business for a long time. 22 years, and if the revenue stream, the sales, so we say, the income of the company were at record levels, and we were still having to borrow money from the bank every week, I'd have done an investigation to find out where's the money going. Because obviously, they don't do that. No. But I can tell you where it's not going. It's not going on fixing potholes.
No.
The roads are in a shocking state.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the answer is they really don't want you to have vehicles at all.
No. Well, that's the. If you get hold of the Absolute Zero document from the UK Fires website, you can see that there's a lovely chart on there that shows what they want to get rid of, and 40% of road traffic has to go by 2050. So that's 40% of road users are going to be pushed off the road one way or another. No commercial flying, no commercial shipping for a country that imports all of its primary raw material.
Well, that depends how many people you think will be left by then, you see.
Yeah.
I don't want to depress you too much.
No, but if you start from the Club of Rome originally, their objective was to reduce the world population by 95%.
And how did they say they were going to do it? They said they're going to do it by repeated pandemics, war and famine. Well, I think they're working on all of those all the time, aren't they?
Yeah. All of the above. Yeah.
We love the roads because all that economic growth in North West Leicestershire came from. We're the centre of population. I don't know if you know where North West Leicestershire is. East Midlands Airport, Donington Racetrack. We like Donington Racetrack. We're the centre of population of the UK. So if everybody in the UK were to walk, and on average walk the shortest, and all meet in one place, you would be meeting at Appleby Apple the Mag. I think the pub would have to get a bit of extra food in, but we could all do that. We've got the M1 goes through North West. We've got the M42. We've got the new A50. I got the 453 dual to Nottingham to accommodate the East Midlands Gateway, the industrial estate that the HS2 tried to destroy, and all those jobs that got built. So a third of all the jobs in North West Leicestershire and all the economic growth came from distribution and logistics. Because if you've got a big shed here in North West Leicestershire, 4 hours lorry driving out and 4 hours lorry driving back, you can hit 84% of all the chimney pots in UK. So we're in an ideal position, and that's where our economic growth was. But the moment we can't use the roads, there's no business in North West Leicestershire, because we don't actually have access, despite being the centre of the country and the highest economic growth and everything. We have no access to within the constituency of North West Leicestershire to a passenger railway station. We don't have we don't. Mr. Beeching ripped all our stopped all our tracks, and that was interesting because I'd suggested that we scrapped HS2 north of Birmingham and use the money to reopen a load of such as the Ivanhoe line in North. And in the end, the government agreed with me, and they said they'd do it. And of course, but after the election, then Labour cancelled those plans to reopen the.
I think there was a couple of small lines reopened just the other week, wasn't there? Just outside Birmingham.
And the Ivanhoe line was the next one. It would have linked Burton-on-Trent with Leicester, and would have gone through North West Leicestershire, and we would have had 3 stations. And I'd even got a private rail firm willing to just run a private railway between. On a closed line, it wasn't linked into the network.
Into the network,
until it got the passengers up, and it would have been brilliant. But there you go. So Humphrey won again, and they all got paid, and we all got nothing except for a bill.
Exactly. So we're either going to get priced off the road, or they're just going to let the infrastructure sort of go to rack.
Well, we're being priced off the road by fuel prices, because we're going to have. We've probably got 4 weeks of road fuel left if the Straits of Hormuz don't open. I'm sure you've seen that oil and gas infrastructure around the world is mysteriously blowing up. There's been a fire in the biggest oil refinery in Australia, and they're not at war with anybody at the moment. And then also there's been a mysterious fire in the massive oil refinery in Mexico.
Spontaneous combustion.
Anyone would think, there's a lot of coincidences. We're firing Storm Shadow missiles made by the UK, fired by UK technicians out of Ukraine, and we're hitting Russia's oil infrastructure as well, aren't we? Sounds like a plan to me. So whatever happens, I think some of the damage apparently done to the United Arab Emirates, their gas fields. They're saying that because of they're saying it's going to take 5 years to rebuild it. So Qatari out of this. And of course, after the COVID scamdemic, they know that they can get people to lock down, and it's going to be hard to break these lockdowns. If they say you're only getting 6 hours of electricity a day, you can do a protest, but it doesn't get you any more electricity, does it? Or if they say you can't use your car on these days because it's an odd number plate or an even number plate, and you can't, we will arrest you. I suppose it's time to get different number plates, isn't it? Or you've got to buy 2 cars. You've got to buy 2 cars. No, I don't want that one. I want one with an odd number plate.
Because we've already got one. I'm going to go out in the wife's car today.
Actually, my wife is an even one. And mine
yes, you'll have to. Young men will have to find a girlfriend with a car with an odd number plate, the opposite to theirs, won't it? And that's going to work for everybody, isn't it?
Sorted. There you are. Sorted that one.
There you are. There you are. Free dating advice as well, you see.
And then the other thing, the other thing that's been announced today as well, I think we've got something like 6 weeks of aviation fuel.
That's going to be very bad news for East Midlands Airport in North West Leicestershire. They've been trying to shut the airports down for a very long time, but not, of course, for their private jets.
No, they'll be fine.
I mean, Ursula von der Leyen for the EU, thank God we left, but I mean, Starmer's taking us back in again without a vote. I mean, she said that the best energy saving you can make is the energy you don't use. I mean, does that mean that when she's going to her junket, she's not going to use her private jet? I don't think so. I think it's going to be very much do as I say, not do as I do.
Yeah, it's the sort of Leonardo DiCaprio, Al Gore thing. You know, we'll fly all over the world so we can tell you not to fly and not to drive your car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all bananas to want to ban anything near anyone near anywhere.
Only for you though, not for them.
Yeah.
No, oh, absolutely. Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
I call them now the useless eliters.
Yes.
Yes.
Sums them up. I'm due to fly out to Lanzarote around the 16th of May, so I might be able to get there, but getting back could be a problem.
Yeah,
you might be better there though.
This is what I'm thinking.
Certainly for the but I mean, they've had some pretty dodgy weather. We'd just been to Tenerife, and it wasn't terribly hot while we were there. This was in February, March, and when we came back, it was dreadful. They had terrible winds and rain and all the rest of it. It was a bit like being at home, really.
Did you see what the Greens said, that if they got into government, they're going to drop the speed limit to 55? Well,
yes.
I mean, to be honest, big chunks of the motorway system, when I'm driving around the country, it's at 50 already because of the lack of repairs and different problems. I mean, I always tell people when I'm traveling abroad that in England we drive on the left-hand side of the road. I said, but now the potholes are that bad, we just drive on what's left of the road.
Yes,
quite right.
I'm
dodging around the potholes.
I remember making a visit to Portugal many years ago, and I got a hire car. My wife, girlfriend, she was at the time. We were going from Sitges, I think it was, to somewhere else, and the roads were just like that. There was like a hummock in the middle, and you had the choice. If there was a lorry coming towards you, you either smashed into it or you went off the side of the road.
I remember the story about do you know which side of the road the Greek lorry drivers drive on?
Bit that's in the shade.
The shady side,
Yeah, I had somebody tell me that one, It's quite right. Fair play to them.
Yeah, well, it applies to all politicians because they all drive on the shady side of things.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Dodgy side.
Dodgy side,
I think you're probably right.
So you've Charlotte's done some research for us. Charlotte's our researcher, and she said you have called net zero a scam that risks blackouts and energy poverty. Is that fair comment?
That was years ago. Yes. I was in something called the Net Zero Group. My good friend Craig McKinley set it up, and he chaired it. Now you see, in Parliament, you can't have the anti-net zero group. So the way you do it is you set something up called the Net Zero Group. And we did this, I'm talking about, 8 years ago. So you set up the Net Zero Group, recruit a load of MPs to join this group. And then you say, what we're going to do is we're going to study net zero. And then we have lots of evidence given to us and we study it. And then we say, no, we don't like this. Then we write a report saying it's rubbish, right? And we did. And that's how you get around the system, because you can't say, we're going to have a group that hates net zero. We're going to oppose it. But I mean, there's no science behind it. I mean, I did a degree in chemistry at Oxford. The IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. I mean, I've been putting out on social media some time ago all the people who resigned off that, these top scientists, and they were walking away from massive amounts of kudos and money and easy life, and they've all resigned and said it's all bunkum. And as a scientist, a bit of a scientist myself, carbon dioxide is the gas of life. Exactly. We could do with a bit more carbon dioxide. I mean, really, when I'm revving my 3-litre diesel up, I mean, they should be paying me, because all that carbon dioxide makes the plants grow better. Absolutely. They say it's a greenhouse gas. I said, yes, it is, because they put it into greenhouses, commercial greenhouses, to make the plants grow better. So we've got about 430 parts per million, which is 0.4 of 1%. Carbon dioxide. I mean, we breathe that in. We breathe in air, and we breathe it out at 4%. Because we replace it with we take up the oxygen out and breathe out our carbon dioxide. I mean, I think we are the carbon they'd like to get rid of, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
We're actually in a carbon dioxide famine. If carbon dioxide drops by half, so to 0.2 of 1% instead of 0.4 of 1%, 0.04, sorry, 0.04, but down to 0.02. I mean, the plants will start dying, and 3 months later we won't be here either.
Exactly.
I mean, we're pretty near the lower
extinction point, about
the lower limit.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you know, but I mean, they say, well, carbon dioxide is, it's the big pollutant, and it's a greenhouse gas, and it is. But the relationship between temperature increase and carbon dioxide is not linear. I.e., as carbon dioxide levels go up, it doesn't correspond to temperature. It's logarithmic.
Yes,
and sort of 99% of the warming effect of carbon dioxide is below the 200 parts per million that keeps the planet alive anyway. So we've had all that. So increasing carbon dioxide, it's a bit like you paint the wall red. If you put another coat on, double it, it isn't getting much redder, and you can keep doubling it, and it's still just a red wall. It isn't going to get any more red. It's fractions and fractions of 1%. It's an absolute, and they're teaching children this as science, and it's science. It's
the biggest con, though, Andrew, is they keep talking about the UK's 1% of global carbon dioxide emissions, but it's not, because natural emissions are 96.5% of the total. Human emissions are 3.5%.
I kept asking them in the Commons how they explained it, that China is increasing its emissions every year of the last decade, this decade, and the next decade by more than our total emissions. And obviously, in the Midlands here, we used to be a coal mining area. When I was a boy, we had coal-fired power stations all down the River Trent. And I spoke to the engineers over the last few years, they're all long retired, who decommissioned those coal-fired power stations. And they told me that they were decommissioned, they took them to bits, and they were all boxed up and sent to China. So I suspect they're still producing reliable, cheap coal-fired electricity to power the factories to make our solar panels and wind turbines to give us unreliable, very expensive electricity. And I think, gentlemen, that the Chinese are laughing at us.
Without doubt.
And
because what we've actually done is we've just we've deindustrialized ourselves. We've now got the most expensive electricity in the developed world, so no one can have a factory making anything to sell competitively around the world. So basically, all we've done is given them all our business.
Absolutely.
And paid them for it.
And we import our clean products that have been made through dirty means.
Well, they reckon there's going to be there could be 40 million wind turbines have to be buried in landfill by 2050. Because they can't recycle them, and there's nothing they can do apart from bury them. It doesn't seem very green to me.
And then there's all the copper that you're going to need, because the wind farms are in the Orkneys or somewhere like that, and a wind farm, you need like 60 or 80 turbines to be equivalent to one power station with one connection. So you need loads more copper, and then you need inverters and things, because they produce direct current, and it's got to be inverted to produce AC current to get into the grid.
Well, I'm told that some of those fields off the coast of Scotland, they're actually paying them, and they're not actually fastened to the grid because they haven't got the infrastructure, but they're still having to pay them.
And then if even the ones that are connected, if there's too much wind, they then pay them not to actually generate energy. How do you negotiate with somebody where it's like a heads I lose, tails you win contract?
Well, I think they were saying, I did ask them, one of my very last questions in Parliament was to ask the energy minister where this plentiful, cheap green energy was, where had all that gone when we got the most expensive electricity in the developed world, and they were signing up for 20 years index linked for floating offshore wind at over £200 per megawatt. Gas was strike was about £60 per megawatt. So I mean, when did you think it was going to get cheaper if we're now contracting at index linked for 20 years on £200 a megawatt.
Yeah. But I mean, we've had this
a megawatt hour. I mean,
for over 30
crazy.
years. Over 30 years, we've been subsidising renewables. You would think they'd have got their act together now and be able to produce it cheaply, but it's clear that it's complete nonsense.
It doesn't. Well, solar doesn't work really without subsidy north of the middle of Spain.
Yes. Yeah.
And it doesn't really work. And unfortunately, the wind is intermittent.
Yeah.
And what we need is strong base supply.
Which is nuclear or combined cycle gas turbine, really.
Yes. And, of course, we've got our own oil and gas in the North Sea, but the current government have decided that we're not going to exploit that, but we will buy it from Norway, who are taking it from the same fields in the North Sea, and pay them a fortune. But you see, under the madness of accounting for net zero, if we buy all our carbon fuels and energy in from abroad, it counts on their carbon footprint, not ours, even though we're burning it.
Yeah,
that's how the calculation works. So the government could say, we've got to net zero, but you've got the most expensive energy in the world and we don't make anything anymore. You haven't got any jobs. But we have made, and
we have power cuts, and we haven't got power a lot of the time in the depths of winter.
Well, I think we're going to definitely have power cuts one way or another this autumn, heading into winter.
Yeah,
and I think if they get us into energy lockdowns, they're not going to let us out for years.
And David Turver on the show, and they both basically confirmed that. That Catherine Porter, the energy consultant, and David Turver, who also works in that area, and they say that that it's just a recipe for rolling brownouts and blackouts. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not. But I think people are waking up to the scam of net zero. I just wish they weren't indoctrinating the children, because that is a form of abuse. It's not science, and someone needs to be held to account for all of this. We need to get as I said about the COVID vaccines, and it goes across all of government. What we need to do is we need to get the politics out of science and get some real science back into our politics.
Yes.
Yeah. And we also so much is handed off to quangos now to actually administer, and government ministers then wash their hands. Well, actually, for me, there should always be somebody in government who has to take responsibility for crap decisions, and they basically, if they make a bad decision, then they're out. There's because at the moment they will slide out from under. And the same with these quangos, we should actually be forcing them by actually threat of dissolving it or whatever, forcing them to do stuff which is in the nation's interest and not against our best interests.
Well, I mean, there's so much going wrong in this country that do you think people are finally waking up to this?
I think they are. I mean, do you know anything that's got better over the last 20 years in this country?
No.
Well, I put it to you that's by design.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Sadly.
And it's time we got back to, we need a different system. The system of governments we have is no good. It is not set up to look after the people. And in the game of politics, I assure you, you win in the game of politics by doing what's good for the party, not for the people.
Yes.
And that's completely wrong.
Yes.
I think completely wrong.
The one thing that desperately needs to be brought in before there's the next general election is that whatever party gets in, if their mandate is is totally ignored and they start doing things their own way, a little bit like the current government, shall we say, that they a general election can then be held again to say, look.
You mean if they? Well, I remember someone once took Gordon Brown to court about his manifesto pledges. This is in 2005 and 2005, 2006. And the judge ruled that manifesto pledges should not be seen as legitimate expectation. That's very, very legalese for saying it's all. You should expect that they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Well, it's been brilliant, Andrew. I think
absolutely.
we'll let you go because I'm sure
Well, we've
you
still
need
got the British sense of humour, haven't we? That's
Yeah, well,
if we have nothing else left.
the only thing we have kept hold of, Andrew.
They can't take that away from us, but they'll try and tax it.
We can try.
Yeah. So
Right,
yeah,
well,
it's really interesting, Andrew. It's been a really good talk, and we'll have to get together in the following months and see how HS2's developed, net zero, and all these other irksome topics.
Yeah, we can have a cricket and fly biryani with it, can't we, or something?
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
Thank you,
All the
gentlemen.
best. Take
Thanks,
care,
Andrew.
And
Really
God bless.
good talking
Thank
to
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.